Let me bang.
I do let you bang. Hey,
let me bang you, James, man.
I let you bang. I let you bang.
Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
We got a special guest here, Cody Brundage, badass fighter, going to the biggest fight of his career. All eyes on him. UFC 300. This is the big one. This is, what are you, like a 10-1 underdog, 20-1, 30-1?
I think 15-1. Last I checked, I stopped looking. It got kind of ridiculous.
15-1 against Bo Nickal, who are people calling him the best wrestler, one of the best in the country, one of the best in the world. People are counting you out, but I think you got a good shot, man. I think this is your fight. This is your Rocky.
Yeah, I feel good about it, man. I feel like I wouldn't have said yes if I didn't feel like I could win. I'm not just happy to be a part, right? So I think people are definitely counting me out. I think he's probably counting me out a little bit. I saw an interview where he like verbatim said he was looking past me. So, that's all good, bro. I'm happy with that. That's kind of where I've been my whole career, and it puts me in a good spot.
You know what? I was looking up some of your accolades and stuff. I think this is a really good fight for you because I think people are sleeping on your wrestling. I'm looking at some of your. I mean, obviously, you're not Bo Nickal level wrestling, if I'm being totally honest, but you were 128 and 22 in high school. You were runner up in the state of what state was it?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, runner up. You got a D1s, couple D1 Scott offers, right?
Yep, I ended up going D2 and then qualified for nationals twice, made the blood round twice. So I got the wrestling roots, and the funny thing, if this was an NCAA wrestling match, Bo Nickal would probably whoop my ass for sure, right? But it's not. I get to punch him, I get to kick him. I've been training a lot longer than he has, and I'm the first guy that he's fought that has any kind of wrestling background at all, right? So he hasn't really had anybody oppose his wrestling, which I get, man. I'm never gonna undercut him. I coach high school wrestling, and some of the stuff that I show is stuff that Bo Nickal was doing, right? Like, so I'm a fan of Bo Nickal as a wrestler. I watched him. We kind of were in school similar times. He's a little younger than me, but I was a fan of that Penn State era with Jason Nolf and Bo Nickal and those guys. So I've definitely followed his career, but I definitely think people are underselling my wrestling a little bit and not realizing that this guy's never fought really anybody with one, finishing power, or two, wrestling ability. So it's a huge step up in competition for him, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, MMA wrestling and wrestling are way different. It's like, that's why, I mean, you see Leon Edwards take down Colby Covington. You see John Jones take down Daniel Cormier. And you go, well, one guy's an Olympian and one guy's a junior college national champion, but it's, go, oh, the guy's an Olympian. It's just it's different. You don't need all those. You don't need the 10,000 moves. You need like
100%. Like Islam, everybody touts his wrestling, says how good he is at wrestling, and I believe him. But Volk did a pretty good job of kind of stalling what he was doing and stopping him from having success. And Volk's not a great wrestler, right? He doesn't come from a wrestling pedigree, wrestling background. Even in Bo's fights, his wrestling, obviously his hands have complemented his wrestling because people are so worried about it. But his wrestling hasn't been that great, right? He hasn't been launching people through the air. Like usually he'll throw really hard and people are so worried about getting hit or the wrestling that they give up an easy takedown, right? So it's a huge difference and it took me a long time to figure that out, that MMA wrestling is different than folk style wrestling. I don't know if he's figured that out yet. He hasn't had to. So hopefully, it's my job to make him figure it out on the spot.
And when they offered you the fight, did you say yes right away? Did you put down a list of people did you say you wanted to fight Bo Nickal, or they come to you with it?
Yeah, I've said his name a few times before this one. Obviously, when Trayshawn fell out, I tried to hop in on that one. They obviously went with Val Woodburn, but I tried to hop in on that, and then obviously it didn't work out. But yeah, I told my wife the day before this fight, or before they called me for this fight, I was like, I'd seen on Twitter that Bo Nickal was gonna be UFC 300. They're looking for an opponent. I was like, I bet you that they're going to hit me up and see if I want this fight. And the next day, my coach called me. He said, I got an offer. I said, is it Bo Nickal at UFC 300? He said, you bet your ass it is. I was like, let's do it. So I figured, it kind of made sense just kind of where we're at in our careers. They, like I said, they had him booked against Trayshawn, who's a common opponent. And obviously he won his fight. So they wanted to kind of push him to the next level of competition without pushing him too far. And it just kind of made sense.
Now that it's summer, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for sunny, active days. I know I am, okay? And Factor, which is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Not number 2, #1. It can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered right to your door. You'll save time, you'll eat well, and you'll stay on track reaching your goals, okay? Are you too busy with summer plans to cook? I am. It takes me forever to cook, and I ruin the meals. But I want to make sure that I'm eating well, and so should you. Well, with Factor, skip the trip to the grocery store and skip the chopping and the prepping and the cleaning, okay? While still getting the flavor and the nutritional quality you need. The Factor is fresh, never frozen. Ew. Their meals are ready in just 2 minutes. That's right, 2 minutes. Although when I do stuff in 2 minutes, my wife complains, okay? But not with Factor. All you got to do is heat and enjoy, and then get back outside and soak up this warm weather. Vitamin D, all right? Looking for calorie-conscious options this summer? You can try the delicious, dietitian-approved, calorie-smart meals with around or less than 550 calories per serving. That's nothing. You burn that off, I don't know, jogging, all right? You need an extra boost to support your wellness goals this summer? I do. We'll try the Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein. Hell yeah. Get rough. Look at these guns, people, all right? So check it out. Check out Factor. Head to factormeals.com/roasted50 and use code roasted50 and get 50% off your first box. That's half off your first box. That's code roasted50 at factormeals.com/roasted50 to get 50% off your first box. All right. Check it out. You're going to thank me later. I got this cute dog. She's teething right now. But she's adorable. All right. No more biting. You got to get some chew toys. So thank you guys so much. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and check out Factor right now. Now, are you bringing in Dave Taylor to help you, or some of these are you really?
Yeah. So I've trained with David a little bit,
I was just kidding. I was just,
oh no. Yeah.
Are you really bringing in Dave Taylor?
Yeah. So I've trained with Dave a little bit. We're signed to the same management team. He's thinking about transitioning to MMA potentially after the Olympics this year, and so I've helped him out a little bit. I think he'll come through. He's not gonna be here long term. He's gonna be here for like a week or so. Just kind of go over a few things. He's pretty familiar with Bo, and they've wrestled quite a few times. They were teammates, kind of. Like I think David was there after Bo, but they both come from Penn State lineage, and both kind of are in that room. But is
that a big is he gonna get mad? There's some like behind the scenes drama of like, dude, you're a Penn State guy, and now you're helping out my opponent.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I told him, if it's an issue, don't feel like you need to come out here or whatever. And he's like, no, I think it'll be fine. I don't know if him and Bo are that close, but I got a couple other wrestlers coming out too. A guy named Garrett Lindberger. He's a Sadiq Yusuf's wrestling coach. He was a couple-time national champion at Notre Dame Division II school. And then I'm actually bringing out Nick Maximov, who beat me in my UFC debut. He was able to out wrestle me, and so I figured that was a pretty good look. It's hard because you're not going to bring, other than David Taylor, right? You're not going to bring guys in that are Bo Nickal level at wrestling, and I don't really feel like I need that. I just need someone who's going to relentlessly pursue the wrestling and kind of just give me that look. And so I have a few guys coming in that I feel like can replicate that and kind of show me that, and have fought at the highest stage. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good camp. And, I got 3.5 months, which typically, last year I was getting like 5-week camps at the longest.
Your last fight was awesome. I mean, you slammed the guy in his head and knocked him out. Was that planned?
Wasn't planned. It was just, all instinct. And I'm happy it worked out for me. Honestly, when I picked him up, I thought he was going to let go. He did it, and it worked out in my favor. But yeah, definitely not my plan going into the fight, but happy it worked out.
Now I was looking at some of the things you did. So you were on the football, wrestling, and swim team in high school. Did you have any time to get laid? I mean, was it? It sounds like that's
no, absolutely not. And my parents didn't like me that much. I feel like that's why they made me do all those sports. So I was never home. So no time to get laid. My parents must not have liked me. It was rough being Cody Brundage in high school. I was also probably like 160 pounds, soaking wet. which definitely also didn't help my chances when it came to getting laid.
Well, listen, man, you're married to Amanda. Was Amanda Bobby Cooper, who's smoking hot, also a fighter. So I mean, obviously you did something right. Your dad was in special forces, and your mom was an Olympian.
Yeah.
I mean, they must have been the most disciplined parents in the history of parents.
Not really. My dad was he was a loose cannon, right? He was young, and my parents actually split when I was young. So
Okay.
I had a good combination of parents, right? Like my dad he kind of got to be the cool, fun parent because I would see him on the weekends, right? So he kind of let me. He didn't follow in the discipline of the armed forces, right? But my mom's a hard ass. She's like the toughest person I know, and she's a badass, right? So me making it to the UFC, I finally was like, I could sit at the adult table with you and we could talk sports because
So,
she was super successful in her career.
wait, so your dad was he the Navy SEAL?
He was 82nd Airborne. He was a paratrooper and a Pathfinder.
Wow. Did he go to any wars?
He was in South America mostly,
Wow.
running some stuff down
Paratrooper
there.
in South
Yeah.
America. And then your mom did she place in the Olympics?
She didn't place in the Olympics, but she did the biathlon, so skiing and shooting. And then she actually met my dad. She joined the National Guard, and she was a photographer, like taking pictures when my dad would like lead the jumps. Because my dad was a master jumper, so he would like do all the jumps. So she was taking their pictures, jumping out of the planes with them, and that's how they met.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
and then your sister was also like a D1 athlete, right?
yeah. So she played college soccer at Western Carolina in North Carolina, and then my youngest brother plays lacrosse in at Coker College in South Carolina.
He plays now.
Yeah, he plays now. This will be his senior year, so his last year playing.
Wow. And then you've had some crazy, so some of your fights are amazing, but for a guy who's so good at wrestling, do you just get bored? Is it ADHD? Because it seems like you get into rock'em sock'em robots with some of these guys.
Yeah.
Does your coach want to kill you?
Yeah, he gets frustrated with me for sure. But part of it is, I've only been fighting amateur and pro combined. I've been fighting for 6 years, so not a super long time. And then I got in the UFC super young, so I'm like growing up. I'm kind of in the hardest league in the world, and I make some dumbass decisions for sure. And then hindsight, I look at him like, man, what a dumbass decision that was. Like for instance, beating Rodolfo Vieira's ass, like not even close fight, dropped him, and then I jumped guillotine against a multiple time BJJ world champ. Like I always see people like, I can't believe Cody did that. Every time I see comments like that, I'll go comment on him like, man, I can't believe I did that shit either. That was so dumb.
No, you're right. You had 6 fights before the UFC, right? Like you were and you're right. That's why I think you're gonna win this fight. I mean, I'm gonna put money on you. I mean, 15-1. I don't know. That's a good bet. But
right?
I think Bo Nickal. I heard his Rogan interview. You hear the Rogan interview?
Yeah, Chat GPT's got the secret. Listen, Chat GPT doesn't even know who Cody Brundage is, so he might be in trouble trying to find a game plan to fight me.
I think I said your name wrong, by the way, up top. Did I say Brundage? Brundage? I think I fucked it up, by the way. So sorry.
It's all right, bro. Yeah, that's my whole life. People say Brundage or Brundage, so
sorry.
People know who you're talking about, brother. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so, sorry about that if I did that.
No, you're good.
But I think that he's like, I listened to that interview and I'm like, man. He talks about, back at these other guys, they just go punch for punch and they just, it's all about working. He's like, it seems like his whole method of bringing everyone to him and then systematically break down fighting and doing all this. I feel like, yes, all this is true and it's working for him now because he's undefeated. And obviously, if someone's undefeated, everything they're doing is right? But there's a certain element of like, you can't get past getting the shit beaten out of you and hardcore sparring, which I'm not sure this guy really wants to do.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, all that stuff sounds good, right? Like the theory of fighting and these are my game plan. It all sounds great when you're running through people who've never been touched in a fight. But the minute you get cracked or dropped, like all that shit kind of goes out the window. You're not thinking about the formulas or the theories that you've been working on in camp, right? You have to fall back onto what did I do when this happened to me in camp? I've had a healthy dose of that for sure. And he's never had that. And it was kind of like the last kid I fought. He was kind of saying similar things. He was undefeated, similar thing, finished everyone he fought. And the first time I cracked him, I knew it was going to be different because he'd never been in that situation, right? Same with Bo Nickal. Like, there's a reason he doesn't go down to ATT to train, right? He's avoiding those hard rounds. He's avoiding really getting thrown in the fire. He's like, I've heard from people that know him and are close to that situation. He doesn't like going there because he thinks that they're going to try to hurt him. So, the fact that he's avoiding that down in Florida and he's having everyone come to him, it's working for him right now. But when you get put in the fire, it's gonna backfire a little bit. And I know nobody thinks I can put him in the fire. I promise I can put him in the fire. Like, if you go watch my fights, wins, losses, draws, whatever, everyone I fought pretty much, if we're on the feet for an extended period of time, they're getting hurt for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I rock them, hurt them, whoever. So, I am a wrestler. I come from a wrestling background. But if he plays around on the feet too long, he'll get clipped for sure. And like, that's part of it. When you're young and you don't have many fights, I've almost double the fights he has just in the UFC. Right? Like, I have like real experience now in the UFC. And when you've never been cracked in the chin and you've been running through everybody, all that stuff sounds really good, right? But when that happens, you don't really have that shit to fall back on. It's problems. And so,
and if you're bringing in people in to not hurt you, like, that's kind of like we saw that happen with we've seen that happen before. We've seen Brock Lesnar. What happened when guys hit him? McGregor bringing in guys to build a camp around him. Obviously, these are both champions, so maybe these are bad examples, but you see it. Like Ben Askren, his last fight, he wanted to bring everyone to him. So if people are getting paid to not hurt you, they're also probably going to not tell you what you need to hear, and you are.
Well, it's hard to be the general, right? Like, I'm very fortunate where I'm at. I'm just a soldier. I got multiple generals above me. They tell me what to do, where to be, how to work. And then I got guys that are great training partners with me, and they'll put me through the fire because they know that's what I need. It's hard to be your own general, especially when you're so new in the sport. You don't even know what you don't know. And like I said, man, April 13th, it's my job to let them figure out. But I really feel, this is 100% honest. This is how I feel. And maybe tomorrow I won't feel this way, but today I feel like it's not going to be an easy fight. The guy obviously has skills, but I feel like I'm going to make it look really easy. And I feel like people will look back and be like, wow, man, what were we thinking making those odds, what we made them, or, believing.
How many people have to talk shit to you? How many people have been telling you to get your ass kicked? And
more than have been telling me I have a chance. I'll tell you that, like, way, way, way more. But that was expected, right? I knew as soon as I said yes to this fight, that's kind of how it was going to be. He has a big following from his wrestling days, and obviously he was exciting there, and he's done what he needs to do to kind of build his brand, right? Like, he has a huge social media following. I'm Cody Brundage, bro. I'm Cody Brundage from the sticks, and I don't have that following. So, like you said, it's a Rocky story, right?
Dun, 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 dun. It's not a bird. It's not a plane. It's a ball trimmer sent from space. Gentlemen, our friends over at MANSCAPED have been working night and day to bring you a below-the-waist grooming experience like none other with their brand new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, featuring the Lawnmower 5.0. We're talking about a next-generation trimmer with interchangeable blade heads for whatever shave your mind can imagine. That's right. Upgrade your grooming game to the Ultrasphere this year by going to manscaped.com for 20% off, plus free shipping with code MMA Roasted. High tech for low places. Manscaped. I'm telling you, people, I use Manscaped all the time. My balls feel amazing. Amazing. Okay. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and they put their balls, you put your balls in their mouth, okay, or they put their balls in your mouth, whatever it is, okay, you want your balls, you want them shaved, you want them feeling good. It's a whole new experience, okay? AI is cool, but I think this might be the biggest technological advancement the world has seen in the past decade. Every man knows how scary it is when going for a close shave. Oh my God, I've cut myself. It's horrible. And then the whole day you're like, just not feeling good. It's just shaving, like your balls are just, you're wearing boxers and it's just going against you. And you're like, not good, not good. Okay. Their 5th generation trimmer features 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade for go smooth whenever your heart desires. Okay, I'm telling you. They also have the Weed Whacker 2.0, which features skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Very delicate. Okay, so get 20% off plus free shipping with the code MMA Roasted at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code with the code MMA Roasted at manscaped.com. I promise you, you've never seen a ball trimmer look like a spaceship. Get yours today with our folks at Manscaped. You're going to thank me when you have nice, shaved balls that feel really good. Check it out. Manscaped. It really, now, are you going to try to get in his head? Are you going to try to like talk shit? Are you going to try to?
No, that's not really me, bro. Like I have enough shit going on fight week, like to try to do a character that I'm not isn't really me. You know, like I feel like I'm pretty witty. I feel like if like we were in a press conference scenario and he was talking shit to me, I could definitely hold my own. I have no problem doing that, but I'm usually not the one to instigate it, right? Like it's too much for me. Like it's kind of silly sometimes when you see people do that, and like lately it's been really silly, right? When you see like how far people have taken it, especially at the end of the day.
I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm a comedian, so I know the line, and I still go over the line, right?
But that's your job, right? Your job is to go over the line as a comedian. If I was doing a stand-up, like if I was doing a bit, it's completely different. But if I'm just like trying to promote a fight, that's my job, is to be a fighter and to promote a fight. To be a comedian, like your job, part of that is to like really find that line and just like push it a little bit further than you can. That's how
even that, like I'll be on stage,
find the
right?
humor.
The other day, this girl was like, I think she was something. I'm on stage and I'm like, oh, what do you do for I go, what do you want to be when you get older? She was like 21 or 22, and she was deaf, right? You could tell something was off with her, right? And she's like, I want to be a singer, but the way she can. So I made a joke where I spun it. I'm like, well, listen, you could do that. Right now, there's a guy out there who doesn't know where he is, and he's the president, right? So I figured out how to make, and she laughed, and everyone laughed, and blah, blah, blah. But now it seems like if I'm Colby Covington or some of these other guys, they'd be like, singer, you're deaf. They would just shit on the person for shock value. And
it's like, what's the most nuclear thing I can say that's gonna make people be like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. And that's tough because here's the thing, and it's kind of like you see the same thing with Connor, I think, in our space, right? Like when Connor was on his come up, he was hilarious. He was funny. The things he was saying and doing were super funny. And now it's like hard to watch, right? He's like bombing at every press conference because like most people don't enjoy that. Most people don't enjoy like, what's the most hurtful thing I could say to you? And then I'll just say it. Like that doesn't have the same comedic value.
It used to be like, okay, you know, wives and kids are off limits. Now it's like a starting point. It's like your wife's a whore. You know, you're this, and you're like, wait, like what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I think it's crazy that we haven't seen like one of these. Like these guys are all fighters at the end of the day. I'm surprised, like with all the shit people are saying, that you haven't seen one of these guys just get up and clock somebody. Because I'll tell you right now, 100%, I can guarantee you this. If Bo Nickal said your wife's a whore or talk shit about my daughters or whatever, I'm not waiting until Saturday night. I'm coming after him at that exact moment. And we're not going to be like, well, you did. I'm just going to drop my mic and we're going to fight because
I don't think Bo Nickal would do that. Bo Nickal's a respectful enough guy. He's not going to do that, you know?
100%. And that's part of the reason why I wouldn't ever like talk shit. But at the same time, like I fought guys who are kind of shit talkers, right? It's just not in me to do it. I'm like, we're going to get in a fist fight. So everything that you say, you got to answer for everything you say. On like the biggest stage in the world, in the most like dramatic consequences, short of like we're going to shoot each other. This is the most high stakes that can happen. So just say whatever you're going to say, and then just know you're going to have to answer for it, right? Like Colby had to answer for it.
Well, Colby, you know, that was the thing I said to Colby. I go, dude, me and Colby were friends. We are friends, but I'm like, dude, when Matt Hughes got hit by a train and you made a joke about it a week later, it's like, did we really have to do that? Like no, the guy just got hit by a fucking train, you know? And
it's tough because I know it's a bit, right? I know it's a bit. I know he's not really like that. Everyone I've ever talked to that knows him is like, he's a good dude, I swear. Like I met his folks that night, like walking around the Fighter Hotel, and they're like, you know, he's our boy. Don't judge him for what he's saying. I'm like, it's really hard. It's really hard not to judge him. Like, because if he was just like, you suck and you're terrible at fighting, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, you're a loser, whatever, was like going after Leon, I'd be like, that's his thing, man. That's what he's gonna do. Then I'm not judging you. But when you're like dead relatives, or like you said, Matt Hughes getting hit by a train, I'm like, maybe we could just avoid those. And then what was crazy was, so I was out there for that fight week because I was cornering Dustin Jacoby, one of my good buddies, and so we were there for that press conference, and then the next day they had like the kickoff press conference with Sean and Driscus, and it was like, again, why are we going to these things as our material to like build our fight, right? Like, childhood trauma, check. Like, I was crazy, bro.
I know people getting molested. It just guys,
Yeah.
there's so many. I mean, it's like Muhammad Ali used to be like, "Oh, this guy is so ugly. You could put his face in Play-Doh and make monster cookies." I mean,
Yeah.
there's things that are funny. We can
Yeah.
have fun with it. We still have to remember like this. It's still
I think what it is people are lazy, right? Like, because there is stuff to go and be funny but it takes work. Like, you have to put in the work to like find something that can be lighthearted and funny and also build the fight. It's way easier to just be like, yeah, your dad touched you and I'm gonna touch you on Saturday. Like, it's like,
no,
okay, that whatever, bro. Like,
no. That's the thing. Like I help Henry out a lot of times, and like with
yeah,
Sudo sometimes on Twitter, and then like
nice.
Gregor's like, Henry, you're a little fart, and then I'm like right back like, well, you know about farting. You're always out of gas. It's something where it's like silly,
Yeah,
and everyone's like, oh, Henry cooked him, but
yeah,
like.
but it's funny. Yeah.
Right. And then the other day, Henry and Marab were going at it, and Rob said something like, Henry, say my name right. And then I had Henry go, well, my name's easier to spell. It's Daddy. It's something where it was like,
Yeah, like
and
that's funny.
even Marab was like, he put like a smiley emoji face, like, or crying. It's like, come on, because at the end of the day, it's just shit talking. But then when you go, you were molested, when the guy was molested, you're like, like,
What are
because
we doing?
what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like you guys, I don't even know. I know how hard I worked as a college wrestler, as a high school wrestler, and that's times 3 what you guys do. At the end of the day, you guys are busting your fucking ass, blood, sweat, and tears, 3 a days, cutting weight. Like, you don't need to be doing you were molested as a kid. Like,
No, yeah.
that little fan base you're trying to appeal to, you don't need them. You don't want them. It's like if the
You don't
club,
want, that's the problem. Like, a lot, like I think like MMA fans get a bad rap sometimes as being like super toxic because it's the smallest portion of fans that are just the loudest. Right. And so then sometimes, like, when they're that toxic, are like, you're like, I gotta appeal to them because these are all the fans. No, they're just the loudest ones in the room, right? Like, you don't need to appeal to those people. Those are the people you're trying to avoid. Like, if you met those people in person, you wouldn't have a beer with those people. So
it's
don't
that
try to
moron
appeal.
that was like challenged Nick Diaz to a fight. He's like, I think I
Yeah.
can kick your ass. That's the guy you're trying to entertain. That fucking moron. That guy. That fucking guy. That's you're trying to slap. Grand slams, no hitters, and double plays are back. That's right. And there's no better place to get on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sports book and official partner of Major League Baseball. And guess what, people? New customers in Massachusetts get in on the action with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston. And finally, you can bet on all your favorite sports, from the money line to point spreads to player props and more. I love it, okay? If I'm going to bet, I'm going to go on FanDuel. So now, bet on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Don't miss your chance to get $200 of bonus bets, win or lose. How great is that? Okay, visit FanDuel.com/Boston and make every moment more. That's FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball. You got to be 21 and older and present in Massachusetts. Okay, your first online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable. And bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Help is here. So is hope. Hope and help. GamblingHelpLineMA.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com or call 1-800-GAM-1234. That's FanDuel. Check it out now. Right now. You want to bet? That's where you go.
I always just, by my rule of thumb is just like, if I, like, no matter what I say, right, I try to be like, 1, my kids are going to see this one day. And then 2, my mom is going to watch this. So, like, if I do this, how's this going to reflect on not only myself, but how's it going to reflect on my family? And what would my mom say? Like, so that keeps me pretty much in line. And my mom, now I'm not saying my mom wants me to be a choir boy, but, she appreciates a good burn if it's funny, if it's in good taste, if it is well thought out. But if I'm like, what's the worst thing I could say about this person? She'd be like, what's the matter with you? Why are you doing that? It's
Well, let me know if
lazy
you
and
want some
it's just,
funny Bo Nickal jokes. I'll
oh
hook you.
yeah.
Yeah. If Bo says something, I mean, I can't wait for this fight. Everyone can't wait for this fight. Now, Chael overlooked you. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Me and
You know,
Chael,
I know a lot of people that are homies with Chael too. So I was like telling him, I was like, you gotta tell your boy that they're making this fight because Bo Nickal's never had his chin checked ever.
he's one of my best friends. Chael's one of my best friends. One of the best guys I know. I love the guy to death. Anytime I need advice on something, Chael's one of my like 3 guys I go to.
Hell yeah.
But I think he's overlooking because he's overlooking you. I mean,
I mean, it's easy to do, right? Like, I'm not holding that against anybody. Now, listen, when I go do what I think I'm gonna do, I want all the apologies from everybody. But right now, it'll be good, bro. I'll just remember it. I'll just put it in my notes.
Now, David Goggins says that he reads all the hate while he works out, which I think is fucking insane. But is that something you do?
If I had to read all the hate, bro, I don't know if I couldn't have taken this interview. I'd still be reading the hate, bro.
Right.
No, I try my best to ignore it. And then like sometimes I'll rarely, but I'll comment back, right? Like somebody commented, I think the other day, and they were like, Cody Brundage is the worst fighter in the UFC. Like they were just going hard, and I just commented back like something stupid. I was like, you look like something I draw with my left hand. Or something like that, right? Like I just try to give, and like one guy's like, "You better pull out, or you're a dead man walking." And so I was like, "Well, if I was a guy who pulled out, you wouldn't be here, my boy."
That's great. Yeah,
Right.
of course. Yeah, I know.
So every now and again, I try to give it
Sometimes
back.
I'll do it.
Stay
Sometimes
off
I'll be like, "You look like you're not allowed near schools or something." And
yeah, that's a good one.
But then somebody will hit me up and be like, "Hey man, I'm gonna sue you," or something. Like people they're like, "Okay, leave me alone."
Yeah.
Now having a wife that was in the UFC, is that easier or harder?
I think when it comes to like training and like having time away from the family and things like that, it might be a little bit easier because she kind of understands it. But sometimes I'm like, when I'm going through some shit, like she gets it and she's like, quit being a little bitch. I had to do all that shit too. So there's some things that are harder, and she doesn't do that all the time, but sometimes she'll be like, listen, I've done it. I know what it is. I know the pressure you're under. Get over it. Right. And that's good. I need that, but that makes it hard sometimes. But you know, as far as like being able to tell her, hey, I got to go train, I got to go work out, I got to go do whatever, she's pretty, understanding, and she's done it all. So I'm super fortunate there. And then like, she's a sick mom, so that makes it easy for me too, right? Like she does a great job with our kids. I'm never like at training, like, man, I hope my kids are okay. Like I know it's all good. So it makes it easy for me.
That makes life a lot easier. Now, I also read that you ran a fight club. Is this true?
I don't know. What's the first rule, my boy?
Oh yeah, you can't talk about it. Right.
No, yeah, I did. I'll break it. I did. I ran a fight club at my college. I used to have them come in like to the wrestling room. We had like 16-ounce Dick's Sporting Good boxing gloves and $1 boil bite mouthpieces, and it was legit, man. I would like stir up fake beef between guys. I'd be like, this guy said you're a bitch. He'd be sitting on the left side of me, and then I'd be like, this guy said you're a bitch. And then on the right side, I'd be like, hey, he said you're a bitch. And then I'd get him to argue, and then we had walkout music.
Oh no
I was
way.
the judge. I was way more corrupt than any judges ever in Vegas. It was whoever I wanted. Most of the fights, I'll be honest, ended in draws because I said we have to do the rematch next week. It's a draw.
and then people came from the college, like everyone came.
Oh yeah, people would come watch. Yeah, it was good until it wasn't and got shut down, but it was good for a little bit.
And
we would make that. I used to host recruits, and we would make the recruits box each other. It was good.
Oh
man.
my god! you guys suspended for this, or no one?
No, I think it's suspended. Listen. It was a small liberal arts college, and we just kept it on down low. 80% of the kids that went there were athletes. Wow. It was good, man. My coach was like, "Hey, stop doing that." I was like, noted.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, listen, man, I can't wait for this fight. I'm putting money on you. I think you're gonna win. I know you're gonna win. I know you're gonna win. You trained in Colorado for this?
Yeah, Factory X.
Factory X. Oh, you got great coaches, great people. Kick ass, man.
Lost you for a second. What'd you say? Sorry, I lost you.
Kick ass. 2024 here, man. Kick ass.
I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Take care, brother.
Later.